What up? You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. What up? What's up? I just watched That's My Boy with my son. Anyway, pretty funny. Pretty funny Sandler movie, I think. His movies kind of get a little corny, even though I still enjoy them. But I think That's My Boy was pretty funny. Funny enough to where I bought it. I bought that and The Wedding Singer. Because that's probably like my favorite. If I had to pick one movie that for Sandler, it'd be The Wedding Singer. Yeah, see, he was making movies that took place in the 80s before it was cool. So what's up? Man, after I did my last podcast talking about Pearl Jam, and I was listing other bands that I liked and listened to, and I completely forgot one of the greats, and one of my favorites was Mad Season, which wasn't really a band. They were, it was a super group, had a singer from Alice in Chains, and the guitarist from Pearl Jam, and the drummer from Screaming Trees, and then some dude. But that album, Mad Season Above, is so good. That's like a perfect 10 album, pretty much. So yeah, I forgot to mention them. So if you've never heard of them, check them out. They're badass. I remember watching. So I used to have like my TV on, and it'd be on MTV when I was getting up to go to work. It was like my first job. And I remember River of Deceit video coming on, and Fake Plastic Trees by Radiohead. So then every time I hear those songs now, I kind of remember getting up and going to my first job. Yeah. Man, I'm not super into wrestling, but I do I always say I'm not like a huge fan, but I keep tabs, right? I kind of pay attention a little bit. You can't see. Why is it always the wrong hand? Ching, ching. Anyway, so Paul Bearer, which wasn't his real name, but he was the manager for The Undertaker, because he was a Paul Bearer. And he died, I don't know, 10 years ago or something, I want to say. And, well, his wife died, and then he died a few years later, and he died kind of young, 58, which was the age that my grandmother on my mom's side, she passed away. Right around the time I was getting into Pearl Jam. And so then he had two sons, and this Paul Bearer guy, if you know, he was kind of a big guy, very unhealthy looking, but he was, charismatic and stuff. He's loved by the wrestling community. So I'm not trying to like talk shit, but he had two sons. One I know was also like a small kind of time wrestler. I don't know if they both were. But so he had two sons. One died no. His wife died a couple years or maybe a little while longer before Paul Bearer. And Paul Bearer died. And then a year later, his I think younger son died, like at 30 something, late 30s. And then just recently or last year, his older son, like at 49, 48, 47, something like that, he died, And it's just to me, I mean, were they healthy or how, their lifestyle, I don't know, but it's just genes though. It's bad genes kind of, you know what I mean? because genetics plays a big role in a lot of stuff. You know, you can have people who smoke cigarettes forever, never get lung cancer, and then you have somebody who never smoked, but then they get lung cancer. It's just kind of like a genetic, you know, they're more susceptible to it, and they, you know, so it's kind of crazy. Like my grandfather, who he passed away on my dad's side, he just passed away recently. He was 96, I want to say. Um, I wasn't super close with him, which was kind of unfortunate. And it wasn't on his, it wasn't, you know, on him so much. It just never lived close by. And you know, I don't, like, I had other grandparents and stuff like that, and that I was closer to. But anyway, so he died 90, yeah, like I just said. But my father died not young, but not old either. It's 64, still kind of young, I guess. But he freaking smoked cigarettes nonstop for, you know, since he was 13. He was an alcoholic, so he drank, and he ended up getting COPD and stuff like that. But he looked pretty good, and, you know, he was doing pretty good for a good while. So I'm just like, dude, if he had not drank and smoked, man, he probably would have lived to be in his 90s too, you know. Um, so I tell my kids that, so, you know, it's like you guys have some good genetics, so just try to, you know, live healthy, and you should have a good long life. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. I, because I saw the thing about Paul Bear's son. He died, and it said his age, and I was like, man, it's kind of young, you know. And then so I read the thing on it, and it was just talking about how, and I'm like, God, they're all dead now. His whole family, you know. It's like, and it didn't really say from what, but just kind of thinking genetics, you know. It's a mother trucker. Anyway, um, what's going on? So we got, man, we got so much crap going on in the world, right? Got Ebola being brought into the States. Someone got bit by an infected monkey. You got this deer tick, or the, what is it called? The, I don't know, but that's given people a disease to make it to where they're allergic to red meat. Like, what the what? You know? And it's just like all this crap, and you're just like, dude, come on. It's like they're trying to get another COVID. They're trying to get people to eat fake meat and eat bugs. And it's just like, what the crap, man? People are like, oh my God, you're such a conspiracy theorist. It's like, well, when you have people like Bill Gates who invest millions and millions and millions of dollars on company to produce fake meat and just do all this kind of stuff, but people are like, no, fuck you, we ain't eating that. Nothing better than real meat. And then you got people, oh, the cow's farts are killing us, and just all the other crap. They're really trying to get people to stop eating red meat, and this is all part of it. I think they find boxes. Supposedly, there's boxes full of ticks being dropped out of planes to, and people are finding them, and it's just kind of, it's strange. Come on now. And then you had some guy, some doctor or whatever, he brought like a live Ebola into the States. Like, why are you bringing it in the state? Like, what? I mean, granted, I don't know. There's chemical and biological testing facilities. I used to have to. I was a security at one, and they had very trace amounts of it, just enough to do, excuse me, various testing and stuff. But still, and with what happened with COVID, it's like, now's not the time. And then we're halfway through. So it's like, this is just the beginning. And then, like, within a year from now, all of a sudden it's just going to be going like crazy. They're going to be like, oh my God, we need to vote from home. We got to vote, we can't go in person, and just more of the same shit. And now, so next, now it's like ICE protesting is back. Like, why did it? What happened? I guess because there's nothing else going on. NGO funded ICE protesting. Yeah, it's like when they're given like these top notch professional signs by the hundreds to use, and it's so paid for and not organic. It's just, and then there's so many people. You can find that so many um, people who they go to all these protests all over the country, every kind. There's pictures of, because that's what they do. That's what they're paid to be a protester. They don't care about the cause or what's, they're just there to protest. Say these things, make it seem like you care, and, it's just horse shit. More horse shit. Makes you wonder, the 60s civil rights, how horse shit that was. Just it was, harder to. That makes you wonder if social media and everything was around then, how that would have actually turned out. It's interesting, right? Guess I'm in a conspiracy mindset today. I don't know. And then let's see. So I'm not a gamer by any means. I used to play games. I'm trying to play Red Dead Redemption, but it's like playing video games is not relaxing. Like I'm trying to, you know what I mean? Like I get really energetic and I'm focused. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do this. Like I get kind of like, it's not, I can't just sit there. Maybe if I like smoked a bong or something, I could like relax and play. I don't know, but it's just not relaxing. Like it's more like if I'm kind of like in the mood, I want to play, and it's, and I have fun. But generally, I'm just like, I got something else to do. And then when it's time for me to relax, like I said, it's not relaxing for me. I'd rather just chill and watch something that I enjoy. So I haven't played too much, but I do see the games that have been coming out over the last so many years, and just how the woke, the gay, the retarded, freaking cuck beta male kind of crap that gets put out in the anti, conservative, all that crap. The same thing like with Hollywood and everything else, right? And there's been some games. What was that other one? But it's like they'll come out with these games. A lot of them take a established IP like Star Wars. You got what was the, dang it. See, I don't know. I'm not the greatest but they'll take these games and they'll sit there and they'll change the sex, or they'll add it. It's the bait and switch. Oh, look, here's the new whatever, but we're gonna fall. Okay, like, oh, I almost had it. It was, so there's a Ghost of something. My son plays it, and then they made a sequel where it's like a female and a black dude, and there's like this big roar. Like, why you're in Japan? Oh, it was Assassin's Creed, I think. It's like, so you're finally gonna have Assassin's Creed in Japan and not no Japanese main character? Like, what the fuck? How does that make any sense? But just crap like that, right? And supposedly it looked good, but it didn't do very well. But there's just more and more of this crap, like feminism, people involved writing this and being in charge of this crap, and they're failing and they're failing, and they make the women look frumpy and ugly. Like even when they have the model that they used, who's beautiful, they just it's like, why are you even using this person? Like, what's, you know? And it happens. It keeps happening again and again and again. And so now there's one for God of War, which I played. I don't remember. I played a God of War game on the PSP, the little handheld PlayStation. I had one of those, and this was like 2011, 12, something like that, I want to say. And so I played that. It was cool. It was fun, and it's Kratos and then battling stuff and whatever, right? And there's been a bunch of them. Well, so they released a new one as God of War, but it focuses on Kratos' wife who had died in the game series and stuff. So like it follows her um, afterlife thing, which is that's fine. Like that's kind of a cool concept, honestly. But the thing is, don't call it God of War for one thing. They should call it something else, and then and then they can say Kratos is wife or God. I don't know, something like that, But don't title it God of War. But the reason they do that is because they're hoping to sell more games. But then the character who's portrayed by this actress, she was in the Punisher series and stuff like that. I don't know her name, but she's an attractive redhead. I think she's redhead. Um, she was in True Blood too, I think. And then when and then you see the character, and she looks ugly as fuck. It's like, why? Why? What are you doing? It's because they're a bunch of lesbian feminists that, I don't know, for some reason, they don't want the male gaze happening on their game or something. It's just retarded. Yet they can have, the women gaze on these hot dudes. And, it's like, it's such a double standard and so retarded. And then, it's just like, it's never ending. It's never ending. So then people are like, dude, whatever. I'm tired of this crap. And then people are like, oh, you're such a you don't want to play a game with the woman. It's like, that's not even it. It's, it's like you don't have to make her half naked, but why can't she look like the actress? Why can't she be pretty in the face? What is wrong with that? I mean, if she was pretty, I don't think you'd be hearing anything much at all. But it's the same shit every time, and people are tired of it. But it's like these games keep losing money, but yet they keep making these games. Like, you know what the definition of insanity is, right? Man, it's just ridiculous, dude. It's so stupid. But I'm not a big gamer, so I don't have a lot of skin in the game, or I'm not I'm a rabid God of War, and I wasn't like, oh, they're making another one, I can't wait. And then you see the trailer, and I'm like, what the crap? Or so I mean, but still, it's like I just see the insanity and the retardedness that is the liberal side of the world, and just the far left side, the far liberal. Maybe I need it. What should I do? Because you got liberal. Well, I don't know. You have Democratic. No, well, that's Democrat, liberal, and then you have like Republican, conservative. So what's a good term? So that's the liberal craziness. Because like I said in my last one, there are liberals who, are just, they're good people. They're just, ignorance is bliss kind of thing. I don't know. But anyway, all right, on to the next one. So, just recently in England, a sheik, the turban wearing guys that never take off their turbans, stabbed a white kid with a dagger, and this kid died. I mean, I say kid, I mean, I think he was like early 20s or something, but and in England, dude, you can't carry a knife, like at all, I don't think. It's, and like, yeah, this guy can carry a knife because it's part of his religion. Yeah. Let's let other religions carry weapons, but don't say Jesus on live TV. How dare you? It's like, what? It's, dude, Satan, come on. Like, what more proof do you need? And then, so he kills a kid. The cops show up. The kid's still alive, but he's dying. The guy's like, oh, he was being racist towards me. And so what do? They handcuff the kid, and they're like believing the the Sheik stabber guy. And then the kid, by the time they realize that something's wrong, they try and do CPR and he ends up dying. One of the cops quit, I guess. He resigned as a police officer, as well he should. And so now that's going on. Like, what is with, you have that happen, right? And then the thing is, okay, so this dude actually, he got jail time. Should get life, really. But, well, first of all, you can't let some of your population have weapons and some not. Like, what is that about? I didn't even know this. That is fucking stupid. You can't just let, these people, because they're religion, give them a plastic fucking thing that looks real. I don't know. But it's like, come on. So you'll bend over backwards for the, their religion, like, what? But you can't carry, but you can go to jail for just carrying a pocket knife, a folding pocket knife, And England's so fucking retarded, dude. Just the more shit that I pay attention to that country, gosh. I remember my friend, he had a job there and he was there for like a month or something. And I was gonna go and visit him because he was gonna arrive, get his rental car, and then drive to where he had to go. And he'd never been there. He's gonna be driving on the wrong side of the road. Everything's the opposite, And I was like, dude, I want to be there when that happens. I was like, I would love to just sit there and record. It was like, that'd be funny. So I was like, oh, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll go. But I don't know, crap came with it. Everything was looking good, but then it didn't, whatever, life happens. But man, I'm kind of glad that I didn't just, I mean, people are going to jail for memes, jokes. And you get, like, what, dude, it is just fucked there. But then, so you have this incident, you have, the poor Ukrainian girl who I can never remember her name, and I feel bad because, like, you should remember her name, I'm not even gonna try. But no, anyway, she was stabbed by the black dude. You had in Texas, I think, the one kid. It was like a track meet, and he brought a knife to school grounds, not supposed to, stabbed the white kid in the chest, killed him. Like, that trial's going on now, I think. And just a plethora of other crap. And you think, like, what is going on? Like, why is all this kind of going on? And a lot of it's just because they're allowed, because there's this, you can't say nothing negative towards anybody other than anybody who's not white. You can't say nothing negative about, because that's racist. You can't. What? They broke the law? No, they can't go to jail. That's racist. They'll do community service. They're gonna get bailed out. Whatever. They make it to where, you can do all this crap and you don't go to jail. And so then people are just continually doing this crap. And it's I swear, it's like a psyop to actually create legitimate racial tension and hate. Because they're trying to do it with fake bullshit. Oh, people are racist. And you have idiots, black idiots, who believe that. I think they're just racist, But I've said it before, like, there was, basically, racism was non-existent until dumb fuck Obama, bin fuckface, became president. You know what I mean? Like, it was nowhere. I'm not saying there was no racist people, but they were pretty much, in the closet. Yeah, maybe there's a little bit of prejudice, Maybe you see like a large group of black people walking toward you, you cross the street, okay, If one black dude was walking and there's a large group of white people coming, they might, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just, that's one of those things. It doesn't mean they're racist, they're just, prejudice and racist is two different things. But it just, there was no racism, man. It was all but gone. And then all of a sudden, just it's coming back, and everybody's a racist. Everybody's this and that, and fascist, and blah 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 blah. And all this kind of crap. And everybody's like, whatever. But now it's like they're creating the racism again. They're letting these different people of different nationalities and colors and backgrounds and religions kill white people, get away with it. So then white people can be like, what the fuck? And then they're going to start rising up, and then it's going to go. You know what I mean? Like, because why else? What? It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. The Carmelo Anthony, that's his name. It just popped in my head. The kid who stabbed the kid at the track meet. Now, let me go back. So the sheik with the knife, a dagger. That's not like a little pocket knife. It's a fucking dagger. It's like 8 inches. The blade. Yet, English-born citizens can't carry a pocket knife. Like, what the fuck? And then there's like videos of this dude getting in an altercation with a sword. He was brandishing a sword, arguing with people. Now, even if this kid, and I'm sorry I don't have his name, I didn't write it down, but even if he knocked his turban off, tripped him, and spit on him, that doesn't deserve to be stabbed to death. Same thing with this Carmelo Anthony. Even if, it seems like there was kind of a little bit of a tension between these two, but this was straight up premeditated. He brought the knife. He went to the tent where he knew he wasn't supposed to be and was waiting for, you know what I mean? Like, he knew it was going to happen. He planned it. But even if the victim, I can't think of his name, Carmelo Anthony, and dude, I'm so bad with names, I'm sorry. The victim, a white kid, even if he was a straight up racist dickhead, calling him the N-word and all that kind of shit, he doesn't deserve to be stabbed in the heart and killed. You know what I mean? All this crap. It's like, just because you get called the N-word, it doesn't justify shit. Grow a fucking backbone, dude. It's like, it's a word. Okay? It's like, not all, because I know some that don't care, but it's like you'll see videos of, I think I talked about it, like, there's like a black group of kids, like, talking shit to this girl. She was ignoring them, not saying nothing. They're like, oh, and then she steps off like a subway or something, and it's right before the doors close. She calls them the N-word, and they just lose their shit and rush the door, but it closes, and they're like, ah, like they just go nuts. Like, is it really that big a deal? I've been called. I would think, like, I don't know. It's just, they call themselves that for one thing. It's like, what the crap, dude? I don't know. There are worse things than being called a word, a slang. Like, what happened to sticks and stones? You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, I don't know. Like, that's all part of it too. Like, they've made black people racist again, and it's just insane, dude. And then people think like, oh no, only white people can be racist. It's like, no, that's not how it works, dumbass. And right now, the most racist people are black people. Like, they're, not all again, but it's really sad. I don't know. It kind of sucks, but it does make me think there's like kind of some sort of psyop going on. You know what I mean? It's just very strange how this just came about, and it just seems like it's being pushed by the media, by laws, by, it's insane. It's because we were actually getting to a point of zen. We were coming together as people, and they're like, "Oh, we can't have this. We gotta have shit crazy," and you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I mean, crap. We elected a black president, so how racist can America be? Granted, Democrats are pretty good at cheating, but I just kind of felt like he was gonna win at the time anyway. But he sucked though, man. Barack was a piece of shit. What was I gonna say? I think that's it. um, I think that's it. All right. Well, yeah, I'm at 30 minutes. So anyway, let me know what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Do you hate Christians? Because apparently it's most of the comments I get. Anyway, appreciate your time. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next time. All right. God bless. Bye.
Say something for the podcast. Tell the people what you feel.